Calaroga Shark Media.
Hi there, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. We're still talking about the roast of Kevin Hart. Theo Von and Nate Bargatze got into it on Theo Von's This Past Weekend podcast. I'm not sure what the hell these two were talking about. I'm not even sure Theo actually watched the roast based upon what we're about to hear. I have made some editing for pacing as Theo goes on at some point about nothing.
None of the roasters, I don't think, had a problem with the jokes. Except for Chelsea Handler did, I think. Yep. Chelsea Handler came out and said that she has some problem with some of Shane and Tony's jokes, maybe.
Yeah. I don't think with the roast. I think with Shane and Tony.
Yeah. I think she had problems with them. Good call.
She kind of said Yeah. It was like, I don't know about all the jokes, mainly Shane and Tony.
Do you feel like in that kind of instance, funny. If people are signing up for something like that, it feels like it's like fair game, unless it's like vile, maybe.
I think it's got to all be fair game if you're signing up for it. I mean, it's like I know... it's like one of those, like, where are you going to say the line is? The roast they've just, I believe, have gotten to, the spirit of the roast is kind of gone. You're not really having people on there that love each other. And so if there's no love shown, then it just gets mean and, but I mean, not saying that they did what they were asked to do.
Right.
I thought a lot of them did a great job. I was very happy for Big J. Oakerson killed it.
Some of the feeling you get with it, it's like, it's intense, it's funny, and some of it is kind of like, what feeling do I really leave here with in the end, right? Like, I leave with some temporary highs for sure. Oh, that was crazy. That was creative. Even something that's edgy and dark can still be very creative. But some of it, it's like, does some of this really make me feel good? Or does I thought
Kevin Hart did great handling a lot of it too. Because it was like, it wasn't, he, kept saying, like, this is what you signed up for. And
he kept
I thought
the
the messaging was good from him afterwards. Like, because it was like such a tough, crazy.
It's a crazy experience.
Nate's out promoting The Breadwinner. The reviews are not so good. From The Hollywood Reporter, Nate Bargatze's big screen vehicle is inoffensive to the point of total boredom. THR wrote, "This is all supposed to be riotously amusing, and perhaps could have been if we hadn't seen it handled in so much funnier fashion in nearly every family sitcom ever created, and such movies as Mr. Mom. But even forgetting its predecessors, The Breadwinner is so lazy and laid back that it practically recedes into itself. This is a film that makes television shows like Father Knows Best and My Three Sons seem edgy." Bargatze's resolutely deadpan comic persona works well for a stand-up act, but on screen he seems mostly on the verge of a coma. In a recurring gag, Nate blows an air horn to get people's attention. It may be the only thing that will keep audience members awake. Wow. The AV Club's review was Nate Bargatze's girl dad comedy The Breadwinner is more painful than funny. Jeez. Stephen A. Smith has commented on the roast of Kevin Hart because during the roast of Kevin Hart mentioned Stephen A. Smith. "I have made lots of edits to this upcoming clip. The original version that I pulled is 6 minutes long. Stephen A. speaks very deliberately, so I had to chop it down. We can't do a 6-minute clip. But I just want to be clear. I don't mean to take away from the points that Mr. Smith was making. Hopefully my edit here is fair, but I have quite trimmed this down to hopefully get to the point Mr. Smith was trying to make."
Kevin Hart made a pointed joke about his personal Mount Rushmore of racism. List of people he claims hate black people. Alongside Shane Gillis, Kid Rock, Hulk Hogan. Kevin Hart included my name. Quote, "My Mount Rushmore of racism when it comes to hating black people is Shane Gillis, Kid Rock, Hulk Hogan, Stephen A. Smith. Those are my 4 people when it comes to hating black people." The joke came during a roast segment where Hart was targeting Shane Gillis, the event's host, and then expanded to a broader critique of several public figures. Obviously, everybody knows me to be a sports commentator, known for my outspoken opinions. And I'm considered an individual that's been the subject of controversies over the years. Okay. I tried to, first of all, I got, at least I thought I had, a pretty damn good relationship with Kevin Hart. He's been on my show on many occasions. I've known him for years. I don't know. I mean, it's a roast, but, you know, he's getting crucified because a lot of people felt like too many jokes at this particular roast was tasteless. My attitude is a roast is a roast. And people are there to be attacked. He's gotten attacked, all of that other stuff. Anybody expecting me to go after Kevin Hart, you got the wrong man. I've always had a lot of love for him. I will continue to have a lot of love for him. I think he's a good man, and a great comedian who's highly successful and a good dude. And I was just taken aback by it because obviously it's the kind of narrative that a few have tried to give the impression that the many feel about me. Kevin Hart may have been telling a joke. It may have been the latest tasteless one that he told. I have no issue with the joke if it was a joke. If it wasn't a joke, I still wouldn't have an issue with it. I have an issue with the fact that it came from him. Somebody that I kind of know a little bit, that I got a lot of love and respect for. I could respond more vitriolically, but I won't. More incendiary, but I won't. Because Kevin Hart has never once in his lifetime did anything to me that deserves that.
Jeff Foxworthy has a new special out today on Fox Nation, this one called The Joke's on Me. It was filmed at the Gas South Theater in Duluth, Georgia. In The Joke's on Me, Jeff Foxworthy jokes about family, aging, and everyday moments. The Joke's on Me also uses behind-the-scenes and documentary footage and shows how some of the material is developed for the stage. Jeff Foxworthy said, "Comedy has always been about finding the funny in everyday life, but people don't always get to see the work and the process behind it. I'm grateful to Fox Nation for understanding the vision I had for the special and giving me the chance to share that journey with the audience." Jeff was a game show host at one point. He might want to thank Howie Mandel, because Howie Mandel took credit for everybody. Speaking to the CBC, Howie talked about back in the day, being asked if he would host Deal or No Deal. Howie Mandel said, "A game show would have been the nail in the coffin of my career. If your currency was irony and comedy, you don't want to be a game show host." So I said no. And then they called me back an hour later and they said, "Come on, they can't do it without you. And they're going to put it in prime time, 5 nights in 1 week." And I go, even more of a nail in the coffin of my career. They persisted. One of them met Howie Mandel in a deli. The game show rep even brought a cardboard cutout of Deal or No Deal and had Howie play it right there in the deli. Howie says, "I go home, I tell my wife, I tell her the story." She goes, "So go do it. They're offering you money. You think your career is crap anyway, so what the hell?" So he does it. Then I get a call from the guy who came out to the deli saying, "You're not going to believe it. In the first week, 100 million people watched over the 5 nights. All those comics that you see now doing game shows, you're welcome." Robert Lloyd, writing for the LA Times, really likes Jane Wickline. Lloyd writes, "I know from online testimonials that I'm not the only person who loves Wickline, just as I know that there are those who do not like her at all, to put it mildly, who believe she has no place on Saturday Night Live." Who are those people? I've never met any of those people. "And of course, it's more than possible you have no idea who I'm talking about," says Robert Lloyd. "There's the SNL Jane, best known for the song she urgently performs during Weekend Update, but there's also TikTok Jane, who began making one-woman, multiple-character sketches in 2020. More so than many cast members who wear their pedigrees on their sleeves, she generates a feeling of, well, what do we have here, with no easy, immediate answer. The fact that she's so polarizing is, in a way, a recommendation. She's different, she's a mystery. In nearly all her TikTok skits, Wickline plays all the parts, cutting back and forth, sometimes distinguishing the characters only by the tops they wear, the camera angle, and the background. Wickline doesn't need me to defend her. She may not be a typical cast member. She doesn't do impressions, for one thing. And I can't imagine her in the sort of SNL film that comedy players have been graduating to, though David Lynch might have a part for her, or Wes Anderson." GQ wrote a ridiculous piece calling Marcelo Hernandez the boy prince of comedy. GQ asked Marcelo Hernandez, who does one thing well, if he would turn Domingo into a movie character. Marcelo Hernandez says, "Maybe, who knows? I'd be grateful, but ultimately now it's a strategic thing. I have to listen when it comes to movies because it's not where I started. I have to listen and learn. That's what I'm trying to do now. Study film the way I studied stand-up, then try to get as knowledgeable and then do the work."
Gossip Corner, whispers in the street. Gossip Corner, probably about Pete. Gossip Corner, where the rumors meet. With Johnny Mac, it's always a treat.
I will wind up singing that half the afternoon. It's so catchy. There's a website. It's Rob Shooter. He's a gossip columnist. I go to his site sometimes when I'm prepping Palace Intrigue, which is our sister podcast about the royal family. He floated an interesting theory about what's going on with Chelsea Handler and Tony Hinchcliffe. According to Shooter, sources say at the roast, Chelsea Handler appeared openly flirtatious around Tony Hinchcliffe during rehearsals and backstage, clearly enjoying the edgy comic's attention and energy. The problem? Tony had zero romantic interest in her. An insider says Chelsea was absolutely giddy around Tony backstage, laughing extra hard, hovering around him, touching his arm. Everyone noticed it immediately. Another insider said Tony wanted nothing romantic with Chelsea. He liked the attention, but he wasn't interested in her in that way. A source claims Tony felt Chelsea came after him harder once she realized he wasn't interested, and when Tony feels attacked, he goes scorched earth. This wasn't just comics roasting each other. There were real feelings involved. That's all kinds of fun. The Toronto Guardian sometimes catches up with Toronto-based comedians. I enjoy these. I like exposing all of us, myself included, to comedians that maybe are off our radar. One of them is Toronto-based comedian Alex Wood. We're told to think of Nirvana if Kurt Cobain were a regional comic workshopping jokes about marriage and McDonald's. All right, I'm interested. The Guardian says, drawing inspiration from everything from Charles Dickens to whoopee cushions, Alex Wood's comedy blends dry observation with chaotic sincerity. Alex Wood, who was your favorite comedian growing up? Norm Macdonald. A close second would be Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Favorite comedian now? Josh Johnson and Dylan Gott. Pre-show ritual? I draw a pentagram on the floor, and then I write out my set list in the blood of a transient drifter that I've murdered and no one will miss. After I make this Faustian deal, I shave off all my body hair and scream into a mirror, you can do this. Favorite place you've performed? This answer is wonderful. Last week, I performed in a bowling alley in Perth, Ontario, and it made me fall in love with the art form all over again. After the show, there was a drunk man from the audience who gave me some excellent jokes I could do at my next skit. Alex Wood's favorite part of Toronto is the hipster part of Toronto. It's called Toronto. Canadians are like, you're overpronouncing that. I'm supposed to swallow that second T, right? Like Toronto? I could do that if I focus. Toronto, 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 Toronto. I'll have to check in with Canadian consultant Mike Chisholm from the Letterman podcast, but he's out west. Who knows how he pronounces everything? And that is your comedy news for today. You can follow the show on Spotify, and you can turn on the notifications badge, and then you'll get a little notification that says, hey, there's a new episode, and then you'll want to listen to the new episode. You can also go on Spotify and comment on the show there. And for June, we're doing this big, exciting thing. Everybody ready? You got to take part in this, okay? You're going to tell somebody else about the show. I assume you like the show. You know what? Even if you don't, even if you think the show sucks, tell somebody about it. Be like, I hate this show. This idiot talks about Adam Sandler. He's got this dumb song about gossip that he thinks is catchy. If you hate it, share it with somebody. Or if you like it, let somebody know about the show. So either share it from your favorite app or just tell them about it at the bar. I don't know. That's what we're doing in June. We just decided. I came back from a podcast conference, and this is one of the big ideas. We spent $2,500 going to London. This is the big idea. We're going to ask the listeners to share the show. So you're going to do this for me, right? Yes. Appreciate you. See you tomorrow.